Hey guys, and welcome on in to another episode, Picks on Net, NHL Picks and Stats. I'm your host, Terry Edelman, at TE Picks over on X, ready to break down today's slate. Of course, if you're looking for premium plays, head over to picksandparlays.net. I've got two premium plays in the NHL today and one NFL side play available over on picksandparlays.net. But we've got 10 games to break down today, so of course, to get to those, first we'll start by recapping yesterday's slate. Alex DeBrincat, anytime goal, unfortunately lost. DeBrincat did not score. Fortunately, JVR also did not score. Just a bad game here by the Detroit Red Wings, who were kind of due for a bad game. Utah, 4-1 win. Of course, Dylan Guenther scored, so didn't go back to Dylan Guenther, and of course, he scored a goal in the third period. Utah took over the game in that third period, and unfortunately, DeBrincat did not score. Ryan O'Reilly, over half a point, a nice winner there. Made us wait till the third period, and the Predators only scored one goal, but Ryan O'Reilly got a point. So a winner there. Minus 113. The big play, it was a quarter unit play, but the big plus money prop that I was really hoping we could maybe cash, unfortunately didn't. Again, kind of like the Detroit game, Winnipeg just had an awful game. When you lose 1-0 to the St. Louis Blues, that's not good. That's not good for a team that's trying to make the playoffs. This is a team that you should beat. And you should definitely score at least 2 to 3 goals against the St. Louis Blues, but Winnipeg unable to do that. And then to finish off the day, a nice winner in the PWHL, the Boston Fleet. Watch out for Boston. 5-0-0, and they've allowed 2 goals in their 5 games this season. 2 goals in 5 games. So Boston is a wagon right now. Won this game 2-0. Easy. No sweat winner, minus 110 with the Boston Fleet. But having recapped yesterday's slate, we'll now go into the chat and then we'll get ready for today's slate. How we doing, brother? Not too bad. Small losing day yesterday for me overall, but not too bad. Terrence, could the Sabres do the impossible today, win 4 games in a row? I have a premium play in that game over on picksandparlays.net, but I will be discussing it anyways. Salute. Let's get wild with Terry and friends. Hey, Tommy. Nice to see you. I'm liking Boston as a dog, and I don't blame you. I do not blame you whatsoever. Boston has been great to me as a dog over the last few weeks, so I don't blame you. Hey, Terry. Hey, Mr. Stars fan. Hi, Terry. Big day, big game today in Columbus. Yes, we're going head-to-head, Timothy. We're going head-to-head. We'll be discussing that game soon. I got O'Reilly at plus 100. Nice winner. Very nice to hear. Very nice odds, too, that you got. Love it. Swept yesterday in NHL 1-0. Only had lost Diablos money line. Great job, Tim. And Addison coming in to say hello. Hey, Addison. Hope all is well. But we are going to jump into the slate here. And we will start with the first game, which is the Edmonton Oilers and the Boston Bruins. The Oilers minus 135, road favorites. Boston plus 115, home dogs. And a total of 6.5 here in this game. Tristan Jarry confirmed for Edmonton. Overall, 11-3-1 with a 2.77 goals against average, 905 save percentage. Jeremy Swayman, 14-8. 2.74 goals against average, 910 save percentage. Jarry has won both games since coming over to Edmonton, but he has a 3.5 goals against average and an 879 save percentage in those 2 games. So luckily he's got some goal support from the Oilers, but Tristan Jarry has not really played that well in his first 2 games as an Edmonton Oiler. Boston Bruins on the other side, coming into this game, playing pretty well overall. Coming off a 4-1 win against Utah in their last game. coming back home off that 3-game road trip. And Boston has been scoring and playing very well over their last stretch. We'll go back here. They've won 5 of their last 6, beating St. Louis twice, both 5-2 scores. The Brew beating New Jersey 4-1, Winnipeg 6-3, Utah 4-1. The only loss that Boston had was to the Wild. 6-2 loss to Minnesota during that stretch. So Boston's been great. And I know I can understand why people would take them as a dog here, especially I don't trust Tristan Jarry in net for the Oilers. But Edmonton has had some success here. 4-0-1 in the last 5 meetings between these two teams. Surprisingly, 6 of the last 7 have gone under 5.5. And 3 of the last 4 meetings have gone to overtime. I think this is a great spot for the draw. Plus 320, small quarter unit play. Both of these teams playing really well right now when it comes to obviously winning games. And I think this game just screams draw. And there just happens to be a heavy overtime history with 3 of the last 4 meetings going to overtime. And while previous meetings have gone under between these two teams, both these teams are going over right now. The Bruins had gone over 6.5 in 3 games in a row before their last game against Utah. And then Edmonton kind of alternating overs and unders, but 6-4, 6-3, 4-3, a couple 4-1 games in there. I do think we get goals here. I think we get a draw. Not sure who ends up winning. I think Edmonton might get the win, but not betting the Oilers here. But we're going right back to Zach Hyman. Anytime goal plus 195. There's just great value here for Zach Hyman. When you play with Connor McDavid, when you're on that top power play, net front presence, plus 195 is just way too good odds for me to pass up here. With Hyman, who has scored in 4 games in a row. 6 goals during this stretch. He's been great. So we're going to take him here. He scored in 2 of his last 4 against Boston. So not a dominant history against Boston, but I really like what I've seen from Hyman recently. So we'll take him here. Looking at other players on streaks here. Connor McDavid over 1.5 points. 4 of his last 5, 7 of his last 10, minus 110. Elias Lindholm for a point. Was close to pulling the trigger on this. Minus 118. 4 of his last 5 games, 7 of his last 10. And Lindholm has had success against Edmonton. Points in 5 of 7 against the Oilers. So Lindholm has had some success against Edmonton in previous meetings. Other than Hyman on goal streaks, Vasily Podkolzin for the Oilers, 3 of 5, plus 500. Casey Middlestat, 3 of 5, plus 452. And McDavid, 3 of 5, plus 145 for him. Power play point streaks, Hyman and McDavid, back-to-back games with a power play point, plus 275 for Hyman, plus 105 for McDavid. If Boston wants to take penalties, I would appreciate that because that's likely how we're going to get Hyman anytime goal, if we're going to get it, is probably on the power play. Elias Lindholm assist, 4 of his last 5, 7 of his last 10, plus 150. So there's definitely value with Lindholm today on today's slate. But we will jump to the chat and see what people are thinking here about this game. Hi, Terry. Hyman anytime goal again. Yes. Hyman anytime goal. Yeah, we're going right back to it. Wild puck line plus 210. They better not let me down. Wow, Tim. Well, we'll discuss that game. We will discuss that game. But expecting to cash a plus 210 puck line, you can't expect that. But hey, Terry, how's it going, my friend? Not too bad, Sweet Pickles. How are you? Over 6.5 in this one. I could see it. Strong under history, but I would not dare take it under with these two teams right now. Yeah, you like Hyman? Me too. Morgan Geeky has 4 goals in 5 games versus Jarry, plus 160. I like that. Looking at Geeky, obviously he did score in the last game. 2 goals in the last game. 3 games previous, he didn't score, but he had scored in 4 or 5 before that. So, and 3 games in a row before this last game, he only had 1 or 0 shots. So, Geeky not necessarily shooting the puck as much as I'd like to see. For me to take his goal prop, of course, big slate today, so not betting everything, but I could see Geeky scoring. Yes. McDavid has 4 goals and 5 versus Swayman, plus 160 boosted odds. There you go. What's up, Terry? I smashed the like. Thank you, Richie. Thank you. Everyone hit the like button so the Wild and Sabres can both win tonight. Wow, Tim. Now Flyers fans aren't going to hit the like button. And Columbus fans probably won't hit it either. So thanks, Tim. No, I'm kidding. Elias Lindholm assist to plus 150, 11 assists in last 9 games. Yeah, he's been great. That's why I said there's definitely value with him today. Hope the chat's doing well. Same here. Hope you're doing well, OG. Past assist, 7 assists last 4 games, minus 114. Not bad odds there at all. Hi, Tara. Heavy prop game for me. Dallas Sharks. I love the over in that game. I bet it up to 6.5. I agree. We'll get goals. I agree in that one. And I've got a prop that I really like for that one. A plus 900, which we'll get to later on in the show, at the end of the show. Oilers team total over 3.5 plus 117. I could see it. Flyers all day. All right, there we go. We'll be talking about them later on. But next up, the Minnesota Wild and the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Wild, minus 120, road favorites. Columbus, plus 100 home dogs, and a total of 6 here in this game. I'll spend the next 20 minutes now discussing. No, I'm kidding. But when I look at this game here, the first thing that when people look at this game are going to ask is, why are the Wild minus 120 in this game? And the only really explanation I can come up with is the injuries that the Wild have. Currently, 7 injuries to this Wild lineup, including defensemen. We've got four defensemen are currently out. Johansson's out. Zuccarello's out. The Wild have a lot of injuries right now. Columbus has 1, Brendan Gaunce, who wasn't injured yesterday, but now I guess he's out. So 1 injury for Columbus, a bunch of injuries for the Wild. The Wild now heading out on the road, 8-6-1 on the road. Columbus has home ice advantage. That's basically all that I can really come up with here in this game for Columbus being this price. Now, we've talked about this before. I'm not one of those people that thinks about traps here in this one. No big surprise, but I'm taking the Wild, minus 120. Why? Well, the Wild have been one of the best teams since November. They continue to win games, 29-5 in the season. They've won 5 games in a row, outscoring opponents 23-7. 17-3-2 in their last 22 games, and they've won 6 of their last 8 on the road. The Wild have been fantastic. Columbus, 7-5-3 at home, so the Blue Jackets do play better at home. They've lost 9 of their last 12 overall, 4 of their last 6 home games. Now, the Blue Jackets did beat the Wild earlier on this season in October when the Wild were playing awful hockey. The Wild lost 7-4 at home to this Columbus Blue Jackets team. They are expansion cousins. But historically, the Wild 6-1-1 in the last 8 meetings between these teams, 4-0-1 in their last 5 trips to Columbus. I get it. The Wild have injuries. The Wild might lose this game. Nothing is for sure. But if you're going to give me minus 120 with one of the hottest teams in the league, who have dominated their opponent and have played really well on the road in Columbus, I'm going to take the Wild here at minus 120. Unlike Tim, no, I wouldn't go with the puck line here in this one. It's not that I wouldn't take it. It's just that the Wild don't necessarily need to win this game by multiple goals. Now, if you look at their last 5 games, 4-1 against Seattle, 5-2 against Dallas, 6-2 against Boston, and 5-0 against Washington. They did have the 3-2 win against Ottawa. sandwiched in there. But the Wild have been fantastic. And since acquiring Quinn Hughes, since he's been in the lineup, 2-0, 11 goals for, 2 goals against for the Wild. Columbus did snap their losing streak in their last game with an overtime win against the Ducks. So we're taking the Wild, as I alluded to on yesterday's show. And I did mention on yesterday's show that I was probably going to stay off in props in this game. But I cannot stay off props in this game. First, give me Kirill Kaprizov anytime goal plus 110. I know, plus 110, odds don't look that great. But Kaprizov has scored in back-to-back games, 3 goals during this stretch, 4 goals in back-to-back games. He's looked really great the last 2 games since acquiring Quinn Hughes. Obviously, Kaprizov, a franchise player, but acquiring Quinn Hughes just makes him better. Kaprizov loves facing the Blue Jackets for whatever reason. He has 10 goals in 8 games against Columbus. He scored in 6 of those 8 games, and he scored in all 3 games he's played in Columbus. His last 2 games against the Jackets, 17 shots on goal in his last 2 games. Kaprizov, anytime goal. Why else do I like Kaprizov? The Blue Jackets have a bottom 3 penalty kill in the NHL. The Wild's power play currently at 9th overall, but that's just going to continue to go up as we head through the rest of the season. Of course, now acquiring Quinn Hughes. If the Blue Jackets take penalties here, Kaprizov, I really like him to score. Just with the way he plays against the Blue Jackets, the way he's playing right now. I get it, plus 110, not great odds, but I think it's priced this way for a reason. So we'll take Kirill, the thrill, anytime goal, plus 110. And have to take Matt Boldy as well, plus 125. Now, I got worse odds yesterday at plus 125 here. I was seeing plus 135 earlier. So it looks like you can get some better odds today on Matt Boldy, anytime goal. Why am I taking Boldy? Well, he scored in 3 of his last 4 games and 4 of his last 5, which I want to make sure that's correct because I have that written down, 4 of his last 5, but it might be 4 of his last 6. Yeah, 4 of his last 6. So mistake there by me. He scored in 4 of his last 6 games overall and also likes to face the Blue Jackets. He scored in 3 of his last 4 games against Columbus, 4 goals during that stretch, 19 shots on goal in his last 5 games against Columbus. So Boldy and Kaprizov have been 2 big reasons why the Wild have had success against the Jackets. We'll take both of them here. Anytime goal here in this game. Looking at other players here, we'll start with shots on goal streaks. Adam Fantilli over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 114. 4 of his last 5, 7 of his last 10 games. Yegor Chinnikov, how much has he actually played against Minnesota? 3 games, okay. Chinnikov over 1.5 shots on goal, minus 121. He has 4, 3, and 4 shots in his 3 games against the Wild. So he's had some success against the Wild, back-to-back games with 2 shots for Chinnikov. So he could be a good look here in this one. Point streaks, other than the guys we talked about here, Boone Jenner, over half a point. 3 of his last 5 games, plus 118. And Jenner has had some success against the Wild, back-to-back games with points against the Wild, and back-to-back games with goals against the Wild. But both of those goals in Minnesota for Boone Jenner. Going back to point props here. Tarasenko is plus 100 here to get a point. Now, Tarasenko and Danil Yurov looked absolutely fantastic in the Wild's last game. Can we really count on Tarasenko to deliver that every night? Of course not. No. I think he's going to be a spotty player. So had a big game in his last one. I'm not going to look at Tarasenko here just because I obviously like Boldy and Kaprizov. So I'll stick with them. Werenski, Quinn Hughes on point streaks. Quinn Hughes also has had success against Columbus. So both of those defensemen points are good parlay pieces here in this one. Goal streaks, Boone Jenner, 3 of his last 5. So if you are looking for a Blue Jackets player prop, I would look at Boone Jenner. Anytime goal, scoring in 3 of his last 5. But he'll have to face Jesper Wallstedt. So I'll get to goalies here in a second. Assist streaks, Joel Erikssonek, 4 of his last 5, plus 135 with an assist. Here, Renski, 3 games in a row, but minus 160. Brock Faber, back-to-back games with an assist, plus 188. Keep an eye on Brock Faber, who's looked really, really noticeable since the Wild acquired Quinn Hughes. And yes, the other reason why I like Columbus in this game is Jesper Wallstedt is confirmed to be starting in net here for Minnesota. 9-1-2, 1.95 goals against average, 937 save percentage, and 4 shutouts. He has been the best goalie in the NHL so far this year. Jack Reeves, 8-5, 2.76 goals against average, 904 save percentage. Greaves had lost 7 games in a row until the last game, a 4-3 overtime win against the Ducks. Wasn't 20 minutes good, but I did go on there in that one. But hey, I had to. So much information to give out in this game. Terry, I think I know who that plus 900 is. We may be aligned. Okay. All streaks must come to an end. Columbus can't hold a lead if Merzlikins is in net. Advantage Wild. He is not. But Wallstedt is in net, so advantage Wild. Yeah. Loves to face Columbus. Hasn't played against Jack Reeves, so we'll see if that continues. But only thing I don't like about this game is the line. Yeah, I get that. I like the Wild. Love it. Quinn Hughes, 15 assists in 11 games versus Columbus. Yeah, as I said, a good parlay piece. Yeah, Hughes just loves to face Columbus as well. Wild have a big game coming up with Edmonton. I guess so. I guess you could call it a big game. Yeah, they face Edmonton on Saturday, Colorado on Sunday. I think that game, the Colorado game, would be a bigger game, but that's a tough back-to-back this weekend. Edmonton and Colorado. Luckily, both games are at home. So the Wild only 1 game on the road here, and then back-to-back games against Edmonton and Colorado. Go Wild, Terry. Thank you, Lions Blood. Love to hear it. Worth parlaying them together, too. I agree. Overtime game when Columbus is playing. Check. Ooh, no overtime, Hal. Please. Way too stressful for me. Werenski goal. Very possible. Wild team total over 3.5 plus 128. I could see that. The Wall versus Greaves. I like the draw. All right. I hope not. But hey, if this game goes to a shootout, you know what you can expect if the Wild win from Wallstedt. Let's cash him tonight. Sounds good, Jero. Sounds good. But we will move on along to our next game. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Ottawa Senators. The Penguins, plus 145, road dogs. Ottawa, minus 170, home favorites. Total of 6.5 here in this one. Taking a look at goalies first here. Arturs Chivas. Hope I'm still getting that right. Rich will tell me if I'm not. Confirmed for Pittsburgh, 4-4-6. 3.2 goals against average, 891 save percentage. Linus Ullmark for Ottawa, 12-8-4. 3.0 goals against average, 879 save percentage here. Looking at these two teams as of late, Pittsburgh enters this game on a losing streak. Most recently, 6-5 overtime to San Jose, 5-4 overtime loss to Utah, and a 6-4 loss to the Edmonton Oilers. This Pittsburgh Penguins team is scoring goals. They've scored 4 to 5 goals in their last 3 games. Normally, when you score 4 or 5 goals, you should be winning. But they're giving up 5 or 6. So it doesn't matter that they're scoring 4 or 5. They're just giving up too many goals right now. The Senators, back-to-back unders, 3-2 loss against the Wild, 3-2 overtime win against Winnipeg. But their previous 2 games, high scoring, 6-3 against Columbus, 4-3 against the New Jersey Devils. Pittsburgh's gone to overtime in 3 of their last 5. The Senators are coming off an overtime game in their last game. Give me the draw. Again, plus 320 here in this game. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams has gone to overtime. For whatever reason, these two teams play close games. Both teams going to overtime right now. So give me the draw. Plus 320. Quarter unit play. 2 draw plays for me on today's slate. Previous games between these teams, even though 4 of the 5 have gone to overtime, the Senators find a way to win. 6-0-1 in the last 7 meetings between these two teams. And 4 in a row have gone under 5.5. So 4 lower scoring games. But if you think I'm going anywhere near an under with the Pittsburgh Penguins, you're wrong, because I'm definitely not. So give me the draw at plus 320, quarter unit play, and I have to go back to him. I'm not going to go for a full unit play, but I'll go back to him for a half unit. Brian Rust, anytime goal, plus 210 here in this game. Rust on a 4-game goal streak. He has scored in 4 consecutive games, and he's been shooting a lot. 6, 5, 3, 2, and 6 shots on goal in recent games. Now, looking at his last 8 games against Ottawa, he has not scored. Now, I don't know going back further than that if he has, but Ottawa's been a team that Rust has not really had a lot of success against. So ultimately, that's why I went with the half unit instead of the full unit. But Brian Rust playing really well right now. This Pittsburgh Penguins team scoring. Sidney Crosby, a point away from tying Mario Lemieux for the franchise record, and 2 points away from being all-time Penguins point leader. So Crosby watch is definitely in effect here in this one. And if Crosby is racking up points, Rust has a good chance to score. Now, if Crosby doesn't get it here, he certainly will on Saturday in Montreal. So we'll see if he can get it here against Ottawa, but it would not surprise me. Maybe he ties the record tonight and maybe he breaks it against the Montreal Canadiens. It would just be a storybook record breaking there. But we'll look at other players that are playing well. Heading into this game, Brian Rust over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 110. 4 of his last 5 games. Exactly what you want when you're betting a goal scoring prop. Tim Stützle over 2.5 shots on goal, plus 120. 3 games in a row. 4 of his last 5. Ridley Gregg, Erik Karlsson, both hit there over 1.5 for Gregg, 2.5 for Karlsson, both for their last 5 games. And Anthony Mantha, 4 of his last 5 games, over 1.5 shots on goal, minus 110. So quite a few players shooting the puck a lot on both sides. Point streaks with value. Tim Stützle over 1.5 points, plus 186, 4 games in a row. Tim Stützle's been on fire. Of course, I took him for a goal, and he got 3 assists in his last game. So over 1.5 points against the Penguins might be a good look here for Tim Stützle, plus 186 here in this one. Goal streaks, other than Brian Rust, Tim Stützle, 3 of his last 5, plus 175. Power play point streaks, Erik Karlsson, 4 of his last 5 games, plus 210 with the power play point. Batherson, Stützle, and Cousins, all 3 of their last 5. Crosby, 3 of his last 5. So teams have been getting it done in the power play. Assists, Sidney Crosby assist, 4 of his last 5 games, minus 105. Pretty good odds for Crosby assist. Erik Karlsson assist, 4 of his last 5, 7 of his last 10, plus 105. Rickard Rakell, back-to-back games with an assist, plus 135 here in this game. So not surprising, a lot of players on point streaks with the fact that games have been high scoring, mostly for both teams here in this one. Erik Karlsson assist, plus 100 versus former team. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I like it. Ottawa money line if Pens take a lead, pretty decent look given current form. Yeah, I agree. Pittsburgh does get a lead. Ottawa money line is a good look, especially with the fact that these two teams play a lot of close overtime games, and Ottawa finds a way to win. So with the current form of Pittsburgh right now, if you can bet the draw and then Ottawa to win together, that could be an interesting look if you want to go for big plus money. Because if this game does go to overtime, I do like the Senators to win. But don't like the Sens at minus 170 home favorites here. Toronto Maple Leafs and the Washington Capitals here. Toronto plus 135, road dogs. The Capitals minus 160 home favorites, and a total of 6. Here in this one, looking at goalies here, Dennis Hill to be confirmed for Toronto. Logan Thompson confirmed for the Capitals. Kind of similar numbers when you look at the save percentage, but 2-3-3 for Hildeby, 13-7-3 for Thompson, 2.72 goals against average for Hildeby, 2.09 for Thompson, 922 save percentage for Thompson, 920 save percentage for Hildeby. Thank you to the Capitals for saving Thompson for this game and putting Lindgren in net against the Wild in the last game. I appreciate that, but Thompson has been the better goalie this year by far, and it was the same case last year. The Capitals 10-5-2 at home, the Leafs 5-7 on the road. Washington has had success against Toronto, winning the last 3 meetings, and we've seen higher scoring games, 3 overs, 1 under, and 2 pushes for a total of 6 between these two teams. When I look at this one, though, I'm not backing Toronto here. Back-to-back losses against San Jose and Edmonton, a 3-2 win against Chicago, but Chicago pretty much handed Toronto that win. Toronto did not really deserve to win that game. Now heading to the Capitals, or heading to Washington, and the Capitals, they've lost 3 in a row. 3-2 against Carolina, 5-1 to Winnipeg, 5-0 to the Wild. So Washington not in great form, Toronto in not great form. Ultimately, this is a pass, but still wanted to break it down anyway. Shots on goal streaks here. Morgan Rielly over 1.5 shots on goal, 8 of his last 10, 4 of his last 5, minus 120. Not a lot of point streaks, not a lot of goal streaks. 2 guys on 2-game goal streaks. Dakota Joshua plus 750 for Toronto. Oliver Ekman-Larsson plus 1,000 for Toronto. Power play points, streaks, nothing. Assist streaks, nothing. So this game could be potentially a low-scoring game based on current form. But up next, the Philadelphia Flyers and the Buffalo Sabres. The Flyers plus 120 road dogs. The Sabres minus 140 home favorites, and a total of 6 here in this one. Samuel Ersson confirmed for Philadelphia. 5-3-3, 2.96 goals against average, 870 save percentage. Alex Lyon for Buffalo, 6-6-3, 2.99 goals against average, 904 save percentage here in this game. Looking at how these two teams are playing recently, the Philadelphia Flyers come into this game 17-9-6 on the season. I did not expect Philadelphia to have played so well. 7-4-2 on the road. The Sabres 14-14-4 in the season, 9-5-2 at home. Buffalo coming home after winning 3 in a row on the road. 4-3 in Edmonton, 3-2 in Vancouver, 3-1 in Seattle. And yes, coming off a long road trip, but they've had their last game was on the 14th. So they've had 3 full days off here to prepare for this game. The Flyers come into this game after a 4-1 win against Montreal. 3 overtime/shootout losses before that. 3-2 to Vegas, 4-3 to Carolina, and 3-2 to Carolina here. Previous games between these teams, the home team has won the last 5 meetings between the teams at 7 overs and 2 pushes when it comes to a total of 6 in previous games between these two. For me here, Trevor Zegras, anytime goal plus 250. There's just a ton of value with Zegras here in this game. He has scored in 4 games in a row and 7 of his last 10. So he's been having a lot of success recently, and he scored in 2 of his last 4 games against the Buffalo Sabres. Just a ton of success for him recently, and just great odds here, plus 250 in this game. Not taking Tage Thompson, but Tage Thompson has also scored in 4 games in a row. I'm seeing plus 140 here, which ultimately is enough to keep me off. But Thompson, 4 shots on goal. So at least 4 shots on goal, 3 games in a row. Plus 134 for his shots on goal prop. He's been doing well with that. Rasmus Dahlin, over 2.5 shots on goal, plus 105. 4 of his last 5, 7 of his last 10. Dahlin shooting the puck a lot. Josh Norris. If you're looking at Sabres props, I would look at Josh Norris. His point props, minus 130, but a point in 5 games in a row, 7 of his last 8, 2 multi-point games during that stretch, and points in back-to-back games against Philadelphia. So he's had some success against Philadelphia. If you don't like the minus 130, you still want to back Norris, I would look at his assist prop. 5 games in a row with an assist, plus 151 for Norris. For the last 5 games, he has a power play assist. So Norris really getting the job done on the power play. But if you're looking for a Sabres prop besides Tage Thompson, I would look at Josh Norris here. In this game, Christian Dvorak for the Flyers has a point in 4 of 5 games, plus 139. He continues to produce for Philadelphia. Norris, power play point, plus 250, 4 of his last 5 games. So Norris has been so great on the power play. Connect Me assist, 4 of his last 5, 7 of his last 10, plus 135. He's got some value. Ryan McLeod has an assist in 3 games in a row for Buffalo, plus 220 here in this one. But we'll go to the chat here. Caps goal in first 10 is 11-2 at home. Okay, interesting. I like it. I parlay Dahlin assist with Quinn Hughes assist, plus 172. Not bad. Not bad. Zegras has 3 goals in 3 games versus Alex Lyon. Exactly what I want to hear. Exactly what I want to hear, Robert. And Cole likes your Dahlin and Hughes assist prop parlay. I'm assuming that's what he likes. There. Go back. Flyers over 6. Yeah, wouldn't talk you off it. The Flyers have been kind of a lower scoring team. Both of these teams have actually been lower scoring recently, but very heavy pass history to the over. So next up, one more game after this, and then I'll get to the other 3 games and the rest of the games in the slate segment. But did really want to quickly talk about this one. Not a long time, obviously, on this game, but Seattle plus 145, road dogs, the Flames, minus 170, home favorites, and a total of 5.5 here. In this game, Dustin Wolf confirmed for the Flames. I'll refresh to see nothing yet for Seattle. Very similar numbers. Decord, 8-8-4. Dustin Wolf, 10-3-2. 2.89 goals against average for Decord, 2.96 for Wolf, 893 save percentage for Decord, 895 for Wolf, and both goalies have 2 shutouts. So no big, really big goalie advantage here. Looking at how these 2 teams have played lately, Seattle's been awful. And they had such a great start to the season, but they've just fallen off here. 3 losses in a row, 5-3 to Utah, 3-1 to Buffalo, 5-3 to Colorado. Calgary have been doing really well, but now they've lost 2 of 3, 4-3 loss to Detroit, 6-3 loss to San Jose, 2-1 overtime win against LA sandwiched in there. But the Flames have had success against the Kings recently. Looking at previous games between these teams, Seattle 4-1-1 in the last 6 meetings. They've had a lot of success against the Flames. 3 of the last 4 have gone to overtime. I really lean with the draw here. And 3 of the last 4 have gone under 5.5 between these 2 teams. So I lean with the draw, but ultimately did not get to anything in this one. I lean with the Kraken. I think this is a good spot for the Kraken to end their losing streak here against a team they've had success against And the Calgary Flames at minus 170 is laughable. Laughable, but ultimately a pass for me here in this one. Looking at player props, actually, I do believe that we have a good streak to talk about here. Chandler Stevenson, 6 games in a row with a point, minus 115. And Jordan Eberle, 4 of his last 5, minus 120. Goal streaks, not a whole lot. Coleman, 2 games in a row, plus 319. Stevenson, back-to-back games, plus 350. Chandler Stevenson on the power play, 4 of his last 5 games with the power play point, plus 275. And then assists, not a whole lot. Kadri, Stevenson, Dunn, 3 of their last 5, plus 105 for Kadri, plus 147 for Stevenson, plus 127 for Vince Dunn. But final game of the night, and then I'll, of course, get to the rest of the games on the slate segment. Dallas, minus 210, road favorites. The San Jose Sharks, plus 175, home dogs, and a total of 6 here in this game. How are these two teams doing as of late? Well, the Dallas Stars snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 4-1 win against the LA Kings in their last game. And the San Jose Sharks, 17, 14, and 3 in the season, 10, 5, and 3 at home. The Sharks have played really well at home. And the Sharks come in here having won 4 of their last 5. 4-1 against Carolina, 3-2 overtime win against Toronto, 6-5 overtime win against Pittsburgh, and a 6-3 win in their last game against the Flames. So the Sharks have scored 6 goals in back-to-back games. They're playing really well offensively. Did have a 4-1 loss to Philadelphia sandwiched in there. Previous games between these two teams. Very dominant for the Dallas Stars, which shouldn't surprise anybody with how these two teams have played the last few years. Sharks being a rebuilder, Stars being a Stanley Cup contender. Dallas has won 7 in a row between the teams. 4 of the last 6 have gone over 6.5. Dallas has scored at least 4 goals in 5 of their last 6 against the San Jose Sharks. So Dallas has had a lot of success scoring against the Sharks, and really high games when these two teams face each other in San Jose. 5 games in a row over 7.5, and 4 of the last 5 have gone over 8.5 between these two teams in San Jose. For me here, give me John Klingberg, anytime goal, plus 900, quarter unit play here. I got to take him. I have to take him here in this game. Klingberg has scored a goal in 4 of his last 5 games. Who saw this coming? Not me. I don't think anybody. Multiple goals in the 1 game against Pittsburgh, but 3 games in a row with a goal. He scored in 4 of his last 5, facing his former team. Now, it's been a while, but one of his former teams. What I don't like is how much he's shooting the puck. Klingberg has hold on 1 second. Is that a 2? Yeah. Klingberg has 4 shots on goal in his last 3 games, but all 4 shots he scored. 1 shot against Toronto, goal. 2 shots against Pittsburgh, both goals. 1 shot against Calgary, goal. So not shooting a lot, but he is shooting in the right spots recently. So can't pass it up. Plus 900, small quarter unit play here with John Klingberg. Looking at guys on streaks here, not a whole lot. Shots and goal, Tyler Toffoli, over 2.5, plus 110, 3 games in a row. Point streaks with value, John Klingberg. If you don't want to go with the goal, plus 900, his point prop is plus 132. So a drastic drop. 5 games in a row with a point. So that 1 game he didn't score, he did get an assist in. So if you want to go with the point prop at a plus 132, you can. But because the goal prop is plus 900, that's just way too much difference for me. Colin Graff has a 0.45, plus 150. William Eklund, a 0.45, minus 122. And Eklund has had success against the Stars, points in 5 of 7 against Dallas. Wenberg, a point in 3 games in a row, 4-5 plus 105 for San Jose. Celebrini scored in back-to-back games, plus 176. He has some value. Tyler Toffoli, plus 250, has scored in back-to-back games. I'm not on Jason Robertson here, but Robertson has scored in 7 of his last 9 against San Jose. So Robertson does have a lot of success against San Jose, but has not scored in back-to-back games and has 1 shot in his last 2 games against Florida and LA. So I don't like what I've seen from Robertson recently. And obviously his goal prop is plus 125. So not a ton of value, but would not shock me to see him score here. Back-to-back bad games. I do think Robertson gets back on track. This has been an opponent he's loved to face, so could be a good spot for him. Assist streaks. Eklund, 4 of his last 5, plus 158. Johnston, 4 of his last 5, 7 of his last 10, plus 110 for Johnston assists. There's value there. Celebrini, 4 of his last 5, 7 of his last 10, minus 125. And Alexander Wenberg, 4 of his last 5 games, plus 182 with an assist here. But we'll go down here. Kadri, anytime goal, plus 180. 4 goals in 6 games against Accord. All right. The Kraken are really bad at hockey. They don't have any superstars. They're just like, I look at the Kraken, and when I did the preseason show and talked about the Kraken, I like the roster. They have a lot of depth. It's just they don't have any star talent, and the depth just doesn't produce. But worst power play versus the worst penalty kill. Is it? Do the Sharks have the worst penalty kill? Let's see here. I know obviously Edmonton has the best power play at 32.6%. Dallas has the second. Are you talking about the Seattle game? Because Seattle has the worst penalty kill in the NHL. So see what happens there. Colin Graf point plus 149. Yeah, there's value with him for sure. There we go. You got a better price. I got plus 700 at 365. I like it. Plus 700 is still great value. I'm also parlaying him for a point with Celebrini too. Okay, I like that as well. Sharks over 6. I could see it here. Previous games have been very high scoring. Wyatt Johnston assists, plus 112 assists last 12 games. Yeah, there's value with him. There is. I might get to it. I might add it. Wyatt Johnston, 2+ points is plus 220 at 365. 15 points in 8 games versus San Jose. 6 goals on the road in 3 games versus the Sharks. Okay, so he's scoring 2 against the Sharks. Yeah, so maybe 2+ points is actually better way to go than the assist. Wenberg point plus 112, 7 points last 3 games. Wow. And who is he playing with? Let's see who Wenberg is on the second line with Eklund and Toffoli. Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. Actually, the Blues are the worst hockey team in the league. Yeah, they're definitely not good. And, the thing about this year is it's kind of tough to tell who is the worst team in the league because we've got a lot of close parity in the standings. Earlier, you could have looked at Nashville and Calgary as the worst, but both of those teams have kind of picked it up recently. So I think it's kind of tough to tell who the worst team in the NHL is right now or overall. But games I did not break down. Chicago and Montreal. Montreal, how can I not break down an original 6 game? Because I've got nothing in it. Montreal 5-1-1 in the last 7 meetings. They've had success against Chicago. 2-1-1 to a total 6 in previous meetings. Chicago, as I said when I talked about the Leafs earlier, they gave the Leafs that 3-2 win. The Blackhawks have lost 3 games in a row. 3-2 to St. Louis, 4-0 to Detroit, 3-2 to Toronto. I have zero interest in backing the Hawks. The Canadiens coming off a 4-1 loss to Philly. They've been kind of alternating wins and losses recently. 17, 12, and 4 on the season, 8, 9, and 1 at home. Montreal should definitely win this game. They should win this game, but I believe minus 185 favorites. So I'm just priced out of this from a side perspective, and then looking at players, point streaks, not any goal streaks. Alexandre Texier has scored in 3 of his last 5 back-to-back games, plus 525. 3 of his last 4 he scored in, and he scored in 2 of 4 against Chicago. So Alexandre Texier could be a good look here, but not getting to anything there. And assist streaks, nobody. There's nobody's on really any kind of streaks here. In Chicago, Montreal, ultimately why that's a pass. LA Kings and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Kings plus 175, road dogs. Tampa Bay minus 210, home favorites. The home team has won 6 in a row between these two teams. Tampa should definitely win this game. 3 of the last 4 have gone under 5.5. But again, here, priced out of this one. Kings have lost 4 in a row. Are they finally hitting a skid here? And 3 of those losses were on the road, where the Kings have been so great to start the year. Tampa's lost back-to-back games, 3-2 against the Islanders. Tampa Bay cannot beat the New York Islanders. So if those teams happen to face each other in the playoffs somehow, the Islanders might win that series. Now, of course, playoffs are a different animal, but and then a 5-2 loss to Florida. So Tampa's not looking the best recently. I don't trust them here, especially at this price. So staying off. Guys with value and point streaks, not a whole lot. Same with goal streaks. Darren Radish plus 475 continues to shoot the puck, but LA has a really good defense against defensemen. Point has an assist in 4 games in a row, plus 132. Maybe you could look at Point, but ultimately nothing for me there. And the final game that I did not break down was New York Rangers and the St. Louis Blues. The home team is 8-1 in the last 9 meetings between these two teams. So St. Louis might be a good look here. 3 of the last 4 meetings going under 5.5. But I just have no interest in getting to this game either. Similar record, 16-15-4 for the Rangers, 13-15-7 for the Blues. The Blues 7-8-4 at home, so not awful at home. The Rangers 12-5-1 on the road overall, but the Rangers have lost 4 of their last 5. Their last 3 losses were 3-0 to Chicago, who I just talked about, 4-1 to Anaheim, and 3-0 to Vancouver. The Rangers look like a team that's kind of packed it in here already at this point of the season. So nothing for me there. Side total-wise, player points. Justin Falk has a point in 4 of his last 5 games, 3 games in a row for the Blues, plus 146. He does have some value. And that's it. That's it here. So skip these final 3 games because they're pretty awful. They're pretty awful, in my opinion. But we'll head on to the chat, and then we'll get ready to end the show. Yeah, exactly. Habs games now 14-0 to the over 1.5 goals in the second period. Last 14 at home. 9 of those are 3+ goals. Very nice. So maybe a high-scoring second. All right. Dobish confirmed, and Knight confirmed. Yeah. Maybe Chicago has the advantage with goaltending, but that's basically it. Hope we get goals in most games so we can cash big, Terry. Best of luck. Let's make some money tonight. Yes. That is the plan. I meant to bring it up, but I did not. There you go. And Wendell Fishing, 1881 says Fortnite. Me and Wendell play Fortnite together. So there we go. Now the whole world knows I play Fortnite. Thank you, Mr. Wendell, but no, it's okay. I'm not ashamed. It's fun once in a while, but that's today's show. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, growing every day. Really love to see it. Thank you, everyone, so much. If you're looking for premium plays, head over to picksandparlays.net. 2 premium plays in the NHL and 1 NFL play for me over on the site. And that's it. I'll be back tomorrow, 5-game slate. So not an awful slate there to go over. At Terry Ray Vegas, you can parlay period totals at FanDuel. Chicago, Montreal, first period under 2.5. Second period over 1.5, plus 101. Very interesting, Addison. Very interesting. But best of luck to everyone tonight, and we'll see you guys on the next show.